Well, everyone, it's Valentine's Day. On this day, millions of people are spending time with their loved ones.
Or just vegging out with some alcohol and a good video game.
Either way, we can guarantee that you're probably having a better day than the Pokemon on this list, who are so ugly that they will never find a partner unless that partner is Ditto.
Now keep in mind that this list consists of the combined opinions of myself and my fairy friend here, so you'll probably disagree with our choices. These are not the worst Pokemon to use or even our least favourite Pokemon, we just think that these are the hardest to look at.
So, if you see your favorite on this list, don't feel bad. That just means you can see past appearances. We just thought that this topic would be fun to talk about. And I believe every Pokemon is worthy of love.
So who will take up the top slot for ugliest Pokemon as of Generation 6? Let's find out. Number 10.
Fearow and Vullaby.
These two are low on the list because they aren't too hard to look at, but they still don't look as majestic as the majority of the Pokemon birds.
We'll take a look at Fearow first. It's supposed to be scary looking, but Spearow looks way more intimidating, with its sharp color tones, sleek body. Fearow looks scraggly, like it just woke up with a bad feather day. Its long, crooked beak makes it look more cartoonish than threatening.
Vullaby, on the other hand, is a Pokemon that is a literal oxymoron. It's a baby, so it should look cute, but it should also look scary since it's also a vulture. Trying to do both just ends up appearing unfocused, and it's a real shame since the evolution looks pretty freaking cool.
Plus, it wears a diaper, and I just don't think diapers have a place in the Pokemon world on anything other than human beings. It's just weird. Number 9!
Licky Licky.
A lot of people hate the design of this Pokemon. And for good reason. It's basically just Lickitung with a dumber face, fatter body, and some really strange choices for the details that adorn its belly.
Now who thought it was a good idea to put a poopy swirl on his head? Why does it have Wi-Fi lines on its belly when it could just use an ivory circle? That would look 10 times better!
And do I even have to mention the bib? Seriously, baby accessories do not look good on Pokemon. Stop using them.
Now, I'm not sure why this Pokemon even exists. No one was really demanding that Lickitung get an evolution, and I don't think anyone was pleased with the results. I can't help feeling that the design team was stuck on ideas for this one.
It probably would have been better if this Pokemon was scrapped to make room for another Generation 1 evolution, like Lapras. The only good thing that came from Licky Licky was the countless number of jokes about its name.
Number 8.
Burmy and Wormadam. What is worse than creating a Pokemon that looks both boring and like it has no soul? Creating 6 variations of it, of course.
Burmy is a bug Pokemon with no limbs, no cocoon, and seemingly no soul. Its yellow eyes stare into the distance, seeing nothing.
Its body is crudely caked in whatever dirt it could find on the ground, growing on it like a disgusting mold, and it hangs by a swirl coming from its head like a screw.
Wormadam looks just as bad, adding more useless attachments to its body that you can't tell if they're meant to be arms or even hair.
The eyes, thankfully, turn from yellow to white, but it makes up for lost ugliness by having a comically large nose that rivals Pearl's in pointiness. And why not add some color to the tip to give it that Rudolph effect?
There's nothing more to say about this evolutionary line, except thank Arceus for Mothim.
Number 7.
Volcanion. This entry on the list is upsetting because regular ugly Pokemon are easily avoided in game and in the anime. legendary Pokemon get their own movies in which they are prominently featured, so you have to stare at Volcanian's ugly mug in order to watch.
At least, if you catch it, you can trade it for something else you want pretty easily.
Now let's talk about what makes Volcanion one of the lesser pretty Pokemon. It's not that it is a completely terrible design, it's just trying to do too much. The design looks very cluttered, with ideas that are all battling for the viewer's attention.
The face looks feline, so it probably had a cat-like base, which would have been cool because we have seen successful designs of legendary cats in the past. But it has legs extending to the sides like an alligator, and a segmented body that has a large chest and backside, but a very thin waist, and an odd circular appendage on its back with robotic aesthetics that can detach in the center to create cannons.
If you think that sentence describing Volcanion was long, you understand what the problem is. There was too much going on in its design, and it should have been kept to 2 or 3 ideas instead of 5.
Not to mention, the color choices are really tacky, especially on the shiny version. The shiny practically makes my eyes bleed.
Number 6.
All of the human-like Pokemon.
Now this entry is hard to pin down to just one Pokemon because there is a sizable group with a human-like design, and many fans of the series agree that they look uncanny, even to the point of leading younger players to becoming afraid of them.
Among older fans, it has become a bit of a running gag to write stories or create fan art of these Pokemon with human-like designs actually kidnapping children. So it's safe to say that it is universally agreed upon by the fandom that these Pokemon appear really off-putting.
Most Pokemon are based on some kind of animal, so it's easy to imagine having one as a pet. But would anyone want a Pokemon that looks like some kind of demon-esque human as a pet?
While some human-based Pokemon, like Sawk and Throh, are excusable because of the texture of their skin looking like rocks, which makes it easy to tell that they are not human, others have the facial structure and the skin texture of people, and a few others even wear clothes. They look really out of place when compared to all of the other Pokemon, even the ones on this list.
Now the worst offenders here are probably Mr. Mime and Jinx, because they take the human-like designs a step further by actually having hair growing from their heads. Ugh, it's just creepy.
Number 5!
Seismitoad.
This may seem like an odd choice because this Pokemon plays such a prominent part in the main story of Black and White, but when you look at Seismitoad, the only thing you can think of is disease. It looks like a mixture of fungus, elephantitis, and tumors are growing out of its body. Ugh. Many people are grossed out by this imagery, and for good reason. Even
its eyes make it look like it's sick. They're completely bloodshot, and the pupils are so small that it just makes the Pokemon look crazy. Top that off with 2 things on top of its head, and you have yourself one ugly toad. Number 4.
Watchog.
Now while we're on the subject of Pokemon with crazy eyes, Watchogs are the stuff of nightmares. Each region gets a new normal type rodent Pokemon to help ease you into the game. But did anyone expect Patrat to be their first encounter with Unova? It scared the crap out of me when I first saw it.
Well, it's a combination of the weird, brightly colored stripes, the darker brown shade, which looks absolutely vile, the size of the head in proportion to its neck, and the length of the tail being slightly longer than Patrat's.
Let's not forget that it looks angry all the time. Pokemon are supposed to be our friends. Does anyone seriously want to be friends with something that looks like it's going to go so mad that it's going to have popped blood vessels in its eyes? I don't think so.
Yes, all of these changes to the evolution are subtle, but all of them put together just make it look so much worse than its pre-evolution. Number 3!
Barbarackle.
When I first saw this Pokemon, my first reaction was, what were they thinking? Everything about Barbarackle looks bad. It has sand/claws, which don't make sense for a water type, eyes on all of its hands, a rock that looks like a gray sponge because of all the holes in it, Tim Burton stripes, God bless the man, and a hand for a head. A hand for a head. I hate this design so much.
This is made even worse because a good number of people like to use this Pokemon in Wi-Fi battles, so you have to see it constantly. Even in the main story, one of the Elite Four members, being Cyborg, uses a Barbarackle. Granted, it gets taken out pretty easy, but it still isn't pleasant to see its ugliness on screen at the end of the game.
I really don't know why, but Barbarackle just makes me so angry. It doesn't even look anything like a barnacle. At least its pre-evolution resembled something from the ocean. Barbarackle is just a monstrosity, and I don't want to have to think about it anymore. Get it out of my face.
Number 2.
Magmortar.
Oh god! Ugh!
This thing.
Now how could Game Freak take one of the best fire types from Generation 1, one of my favourite Gen 1 pokes, and make it evolve into something so pathetic? They really tried to make Magmortar look cool with the arm cannons, but they more like something that belongs to the Digimon series. And why make them completely yellow?
Yeah, the bright yellow was not a good color choice for a Pokemon that's supposed to look tough. The flame design on its belly looks really uninspired. It just looks like Magmortar spilled some mustard and ketchup on its shirt and couldn't get the stain out.
The bad colouring, mixed with a dumb duck face, ended up making what was supposed to be a badass final evolution look like a birthday clown. Number 1. Hippopotas.
Hippowdon. Oh man. These two are just absolutely painful to look at. Hippopotas has giant freaking nostrils, a camouflage body, and eyes that poke up like it's a snail. It looks so stupid. Female Hippopotas just looks like she dipped her face in mud. Why choose to make the entire snout brown? Brown like the color of mud.
Plus, in the anime, it doesn't even close its eyes. Its pupils just turn into a curved line. How does that even make any sense? But if you think Hippopotas is bad, just take a look at Hippowdon.
Hippowdon gets these dumb bracelets on its arms, the same sickly red eyes that Seismitoad suffers from, and holes all over its back which pour sand out. It looks like pimple pus, and Game Freak gave it freckles, because a Pokemon that lives in the ground would totally get enough sunlight to develop freckles on its face.
And the trick is, they made it even worse by making the female entirely black. As if the black and pukish yellow weren't bad enough, the all-black design of the female Hippowdon is the laziest colour work on any Pokemon with a gender difference.
Honestly, this Pokemon makes me angrier to look at than any other. I'm just not sure how such an adorable animal in real life can be turned into such a mess.
We hope you enjoyed watching our top 10 ugliest Pokemon list. We promise that we don't hate these Pokemon.
We just wouldn't want to date them anytime soon. We hope that this video brought you a little bit of joy on this holiday. Or at least brought some attention to some unpopular quotes. Thanks for watching!
Hey guys! I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe for more videos like it. I am planning on doing more if this one goes well. Also, check out Dominic's channel. I left a link in the description. He has a lot of videos like this, and he also has some highlights from his streams that he does on Twitch. I am personally enjoying the Pokemon randomizer that he's been doing. A lot of crazy stuff happening there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a nice holiday.